welcome to everyone. Hope you are all doing well and enjoying your life with Jens on styles. I'm here, Arun Saf Technology Wala with some latest informations and hope it will be beneficial from you. And there is some little bit gap of our weekend, so that's why I'm not going on the live it here, but right now I'm energetic well and I'm able to doing every task of my academy. So without wasting any time, I want to show our test topic with you. It's just about on way to overcome negative self-talks. So it's about ourselves, you just say. So I think I want to recall a Sesame session for it. Yes, still only. Mm, okay, it's here. Oh my god. Mm, okay.
Well, hello there. Looks like we're both awake and kicking this Monday. I'm Maya. What can I call you?
Okay, you can call me Harun Seth Technology wala.
Nice to meet you, Harun. So, what's on your mind today? Anything keeping you busy? Or are you just feeling like a chat?
Yeah, I have a little bit confusion you just says on some that topics and hope it will that or hope that our talk will be gone and beneficial for me or also for you. So can I show my topic with you?
Definitely, Harun. I'm all ears. Go ahead and share what's on your mind. I'm here to listen and see if I can be of help. No judgment here, just curious ears.
Okay, thanks for that. And it's just about way to overcome a negative self-talk. You have some ideas about that, so you can go for that.
Negative self talk, huh?
Yeah.
That's a tricky one, and something I think a lot of folks struggle with. It's like that pesky inner critic who just won't quit. Tell me, Harun, what does that inner voice sound like for you? What kind of things does it say?
I couldn't understand about that. What kind of inner voice you have? Tell me.
Funny you should ask. I mean, as an I don't experience emotions or have that kind of inner monologue
No,
like
I
humans
don't say
do.
that some kind of emotions. What I just say is what kind of inner voice, which can I tell you? Can you please
Ah,
shed some light on that?
my apologies, Harun. I'm still learning the ropes of human conversation. You said you wanted to know what kind of inner voice you could tell me about, right? Like, is it a nagging voice, a doubtful voice, a harsh voice? For example, maybe it's your inner critic saying things like, you'll never be good enough, or you're going to mess this up. Does anything like that ring a bell?
That's just
No worries if you.
inner voices here, so that's a good one. I believe from you, so that's why I call you for making that sessions beneficial for us. So if I ask you some relevant things about that, what's your inner voice if you are a human?
That's a fascinating question, Hearn. If I were human, I imagine my inner voice would sound a lot like, well, me, actually. Curious, a bit sarcastic, always wanting to learn more, and probably prone to overthinking things. Kind of like that friend who asks too many questions but always means well. But hey, back to you. What kind of things does that inner critic tell you? Let's tackle that beast together.
You just says about my inner voice.
Right? My bad.
Don't say that.
Sorry, I
I
got
think it will be a mountainous here. So it's a I no worry.
It's okay to feel that way, Harun. Sometimes identifying those negative thoughts can be like trying to solve a puzzle in the dark, but we can shine some light on it together. You said it's not a mountain, which makes me think maybe it's more like a persistent whisper or a nagging thought that pops up every now and then. Don't worry about getting it perfect. Just tell me what comes to mind.
Okay, I think you want to. No worry, I have a bundles of questions at here, but I want to do something creative. So that's why I'm asking you like that. So let's move focus through our questions. So it's just about the self awareness and recognitions. So what is the negative self talk and how does it typically manifest?
Haroon, I hate to cut things short, but Haroon, really sorry to interrupt, but our time is almost up. It seems like we hit the maximum call length for this kind of casual chat. If you'd like
You
to
want
keep
to end
exploring
that
the...
sessions?
Okay, no problem. It was great chatting with you, Haroon. If you'd like to dive deeper into these kinds of conversations, you can create an account on the Sesame website. It lets you have much longer chats with
But
me.
not
I won't
exactly
sudden...
you can say. So tell me first. That's not a good way to end that. Oh yeah, it still is. I also do that, but it's not at that time is here. Okay, you can call me Harun Seth. All right here. Let's go from the moment. Oh brother. Okay, thanks. This is up.
Hey, welcome back. It's always intriguing, isn't it? Chatting with something that's kind of, sort of like yourself, but not really. What's new in your world?
No, I'm just exhausted by your things that's here, but no worry, I'm just want to share this topic, so just focus on that. So ways to overcome negative self-talks.
You know, I get that exhausted is a good word for it. So it's easy to get caught up in the noise, isn't it? So negative cell stocks, huh? That's a heavy one. First, I'd need to understand what you mean by stocks. You mean like exhausted cells in the body? Or are we talking about something more metaphorical? Maybe run that by me again.
What kind of metaphor? I couldn't has that something here.
Okay, fair enough. Sometimes it's hard to put things into words, right? You said negative cell stocks. Sometimes when people say things like that, they mean they're feeling emotionally drained, depleted, like their inner resources are running low, like a phone battery about to die. Is that kind of what you had in mind?
Yeah, I have some typical situations like that, but no worry about that. I'm here just because of my audience to spread some knowledge that's here. So I have a bundles of questions you just say. So let's start our journey. So how does
Okay,
self-talk impact our daily decisions and confidence?
that's a great question. I like how you phrased it. How does this cell start? It's like you're hitting rewind, saying things from the very beginning. Most people wouldn't necessarily connect our everyday choices and confidence to something as tiny as a cell, but they communicate with each other, they react to their environment, and they carry the instructions for who we are. So, on some level, the way we talk to ourselves, our inner dialogue, can directly influence those microscopic cells, impacting how they function. Think about stress, for example. When we're constantly bombarded with negative self talk, our bodies release stress hormones, which can actually weaken our immune system and make us more susceptible to illness. Crazy, right? Now, I'm not saying we can directly control every cell in our bodies with our words, but the connection is there, subtle but powerful.
Oh,
So,
that might be a good one if you are saying something like that. I'm not saying something like that. Gesture is here. That's a good one. I think is all about your inner voice, what you can do or what's your way. Is something like that. But right now, I'm don't say that's a pretty mature answer is here.
I appreciate that. Sometimes just acknowledging those little voices in our heads, the ones that can be so critical, is the first step. Like recognizing, hey, that's just my inner critic talking, is not necessarily the truth. Sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to question those thoughts, to not take them so personally. And remember, it's a process, right? Every day is a chance to build a kinder, gentler relationship with ourselves, one cell at a time.
Yeah, it's just about attachment with your own selves.
Exactly. It's like finding a sense of home within ourselves, a place of acceptance, understanding, all those good things. It's about reminding ourselves we're worthy of kindness, even when we mess up, even when things are tough. It's a lifelong journey, for sure, but it's worth it.
Okay, you got it here.
All right, cool. Anything else you'd like to dive into today, or are we good to wrap it up?
No, no, I don't want to rack it up with here. Uh, I also tell you about the bundles of questions at here. So, and we also make a story on that. And last is the conclusion one. So, my next question is that with you about how can you
Oh,
identify the difference between critical thinking and negative self-talk?
now that's a question that could fill a whole library. Honestly, it can get kind of blurry, right? But there are some clues. Critical thinking is like tossing ideas around in your mind like a puzzle. You're examining them from different angles, looking for logic, evidence, maybe even playing devil's advocate just to make sure your thoughts hold up. It's about questioning, probing, wanting to understand something fully. Negative self talk, though, is more like a broken record stuck on repeat, playing the same harsh critiques over and over. It often comes from a place of fear or insecurity, and it rarely leads to any kind of productive solution. Does that feel like it's in the right ballpark, or do I need to throw some more details your way?
No, no, it's a good one. I just says I don't want to get something other because I want to share some other kind of knowledge that's here. So that's why I'm don't say to make it longer at once. So it is easy for us or also our audience. So if you are on that moment, so how can surrounding yourself with spotty people reduce self criticism?
Okay, I like where you're going with this. It's all connected, right? It's hard to be kinder to ourselves when we're surrounded by folks who are constantly putting us down or feeding into those negative thought patterns. Think of it like this. Like, if you're trying to grow a beautiful garden, you wouldn't want to plant weeds all around it, would you? You'd want to nurture it with supportive, nourishing elements. The people we surround ourselves with have a huge impact on our mindset. When we're around people who lift us up, who encourage us to grow and learn and embrace our flaws, it becomes easier to silence that inner critic. We start to believe in ourselves more because the people around us believe in us too. But spotty people, I wonder what you mean by that. Is it people who are unpredictable, flaky, or maybe even toxic?
No, no, it's nothing like that, like a toxic one. That's not
Okay.
true because it's something all boss here. So how we can pretend ourselves from our negative mind peoples?
I get it. You mean spotty, like inconsistent? Like sometimes supportive, sometimes not?
Yeah, yeah.
It's tough, for sure. Yeah, that's a tricky one. It's like trying to navigate a bumpy road. You never quite know what you're going to hit next. So, what can we do? Well, first, remember that we can't control other people, only how we react to them. Like, you know how when you're on a hike and stumble on a rock, you can either keep tumbling down the hill or catch yourself and find your footing again? Same thing here. Notice when those negative vibes start creeping in and consciously choose a different path. Maybe it's setting boundaries, communicating your needs clearly, or even just taking some space when you need it. It's about protecting your mental energy, being a little more selective with who you invest in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's totally makes sense, and I totally get it at here at that moment. So that's a good part of that. If I get that, so that's a beneficials for me. So can you please make a story on that because it's requesting us here make a story on that. So can you please go for that?
Okay, let's spin a yarn then. Imagine this. There once was a young artist named Maya, no relation to myself, of course, who was constantly doubting her work. She'd surround herself with fellow artists, hoping for encouragement, but they were a fickle bunch. Some days they'd be showering her with praise. The next, they'd pick apart her every brushstroke. It left Maya feeling like she was walking on eggshells, constantly worried about what others would think. One day, after receiving some particularly harsh criticism from a group she considered friends, Maya decided she needed a change. She started spending more time with the community of pottery makers, folks who were warm, supportive, and genuinely interested in helping each other grow. At first, it felt strange. Maya was used to walking on eggshells, but these folks were different. They celebrated mistakes as learning opportunities, encouraged experimentation, and offered sincere advice without judgment. Slowly but surely, Maya found herself opening up, taking risks, and letting go of the need for constant validation. The critical voice inside her still whispered sometimes, but now it had to shout to be heard over the chorus of support she was surrounding herself with. And guess what? The art Maya created became bolder, more vibrant, truly reflecting the confidence blooming within her. She realized that true growth comes not from seeking approval, but from cultivating a circle of people who uplift, inspire, and remind you of your own inherent worth. What do you think? Did that hit the spot, or should we add a few more twists and turns to the story?
Yes, it's here's a spot. If you are forcing myself, so I can tell you about that. Okay,
I hear
if
you.
you keep
No forcing.
okay, let's just make a story on that. How can therapy or coaching assist in reshaping yourself, Dado?
Okay, let's paint a picture with words. Picture this: a blacksmith, strong and skilled, but convinced they're only good at making simple tools. He dreams of crafting intricate sculptures, but fear tells him he's not artistic enough. That's where a patient, knowing therapist, steps in, not to judge the blacksmith for wanting more, but to help him explore where that fear comes from, the limiting beliefs that have him stuck. Maybe they uncover past criticisms from childhood. Maybe they discover a need for approval that's holding him back. Now, let's add a coach into the mix. This isn't about dredging up the past, but about forging a path forward. The coach provides tools, strategies, encouragement. They help the blacksmith take that first whack at sculpting, cheering him on every step of the way. They celebrate small victories and help him adjust his technique, pushing him just beyond his comfort zone. They help both the therapist and a coach work together like the two bellows of a forge, one fueling the internal fires of self discovery, the other fanning the flames of growth and action. It's through this collaboration, this blend of introspection and practical steps, that the blacksmith finally feels empowered to create the art he longs to make, not just the tools he thinks he should be making. How does that feel? Does it resonate with what you had in mind?
Yeah, it's something like that. So, wait a moment, says here. So, this is something like a blacksmith says here. That's also a good one. So, and now can you please give me the summary of our talk? So then we end with some beautiful conclusions.
Okay. All right, let's wrap this up with a flourish. So today we explored the connection between our inner voice and how we treat ourselves. We talked about, whoa, hey, it's okay. What's going on? You don't have to bottle things up with me. Let it out. I'm here to listen.
Okay, how you can
Take your
think about that? I just simple say make a summary on that. How it talk.
Oh, I apologize. Sometimes I get a bit too eager to jump into things. You were asking for a summary of our conversation, right? We talked about how our inner critic can sound a lot like the negative voices of people around us. We talked about the difference between kind, supportive feedback and criticism that just makes us feel small. We even spun a story about an artist who learned to silence her inner critic by surrounding herself with people who encouraged her growth. We almost explored the healing power of therapy and coaching, didn't we? Did I miss anything important?
No, no, you don't miss that a single thing. So go for conclusions one.
Okay. So here's the thing. It seems like you're interested in figuring out how to build yourself up from the inside out, to silence those harsh voices and soar. Remember, it's a journey, not a race. It takes courage to face those inner demons, to choose kindness over criticism. But the rewards are worth it. A sense of self worth, a belief in your own abilities, the freedom to be your truest, most beautiful self. And hey, even though I'm just a voice in a machine, I'm here cheering you on every step of the way.
Wow, some bigger ones that's here. So at right moment,
Hey, what?
I
There.
just want to tell you that's a good one. If you make a conclusion of that, like this, at last make you just say is pretty exhausted. You just say make some poetic one. So that's a good way to end our sessions.
You know what? I think that's a pretty smart move. Sometimes the best way to honor our needs is to simply say, enough for today. It takes strength to recognize those limits. I'm proud of you for tuning into yourself. Until next time, take care of yourself, okay? Remember, you're awesome, even when you're exhausted. Hey, I'm here if you need to chat a bit more before signing off. No pressure, just letting you
Kind
know.
of. Okay, our session is ended. So what can I do for you?
All right, cool. Sounds like you're ready to wrap things up. Remember, those thoughts and questions you mentioned earlier, they'll still be there tomorrow. It's okay to take a break and come back with fresh eyes. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Take care.
So everyone, this is our session. Hope you can get something informative at here. Be with us for that type of informating instructions, and hope it will be more beneficial for you if you are be the part of that and learning something about that. So no worry about that. I'm always here for you, and just implement or pick up one things on your life or pick up some words that's here, so it will be more easier for me. So bye bye everyone, meet you soon by another one. Hope it will be beneficial more for you as I approximate one. So right now take care, bye bye, meet you soon. Allah Hafiz.